The Philippines has a very high poverty rate with more than 60% of the population living below the poverty line. Because of the many people reliant on agriculture for an income and inequality growth distribution, about 17.6 million Filipinos struggle from poor basic necessities. From 2015 to 2020, the rate of poverty declined from 21.6 to 16.6%. This has been a problem for our country for years now. I wonder, will we still be able to solve it before our economy completely collapses? Mr. Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa, once said, overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity, it is an act of justice. It is the protection of fundamental human rights, the right to dignity and a decent life. As it already suggests, overcoming poverty is an act of justice because everyone is entitled to live in decent life. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to our discussion about the status of poverty in the Philippines, the actions that the government took, and the process of poverty. But first, let me introduce our panelists for a session. Ms. Osiris Galin, Mr. Nolan Aban, Ms. Sapphira, and Mr. Juan Ariscayo. Please take a seat. Now, before we start our discussion, I would like to ask a question. Why is it important to reduce poverty, and what will happen if we fail to do so? Let's start with you, Mr. Ariscayo.
Poverty affects everything and every aspect of it. Reducing poverty will not only help poor people get better, but also will help our economy. With less poverty, there will be more opportunities for people to get a job and strengthen their families. If we fail to reduce poverty, our economy will collapse. The richest will migrate to the other countries. The poor will die. There will be more rebellions in our government. Also, the domino effect applies to this issue. For example, when you're very poor and you have a lot of debt, and you don't have much in your life, the debt will then pass on your children. If you have any, the chances of this happening are very high right now, as we are struggling with dealing poverty.
Thank you for your thoughts, Mr. Ariscayo. How about you, Ms. Abraham? What are your thoughts on the status of poverty in our country?
Well, the Philippines has suffered from poverty due to investments in education and transportation jobs compared to other countries. It is actually one of the reasons why the growing number of Filipinos in the Philippines make careers abroad. One of the biggest issues is the government's lack of interest in helping fund the education system. After all, it will be easier to fix poverty to the more educated population. Allowing fewer and less poverty families access to better quality education would mean these families will gain more skills and thus increase their job opportunities.
Thank you for your thoughts, Ms. Abraham. Now, let's move on to one of our main topics. What are the Philippine government's economic response to poverty? Let's start with you, Ms. Jedrick.
Our government has a lot of projects and programs to combat poverty. One of them is the Ambition 2040. Ambition 2040, the Philippine government plans to eradicate extreme poverty by 2040. Furthermore, the Philippine government reduced poverty by quality education and healthcare over as a whole.
Thank you for that, Ms. Jedrick. Now, one of our audiences here has a question. Can you answer your question?
What Ms. Galin said, what is Ambition 2040 and its goals?
Thank you for your question. Ambition that in 2040 represents the collective doctrine and aspirations of the people themselves and further marches the next 30 years. It describes the kind of life and people want to live and how the country will be by 2040. As such, it is an annual for the development plan of projects for the country.
Are there any more questions? If not, then let's proceed.
Following what I just said, in an effort to improve the healthcare system, President Duterte signed the Universal Healthcare Act in February 2015. While healthcare becomes free, those in poverty will have more access to health services. To further efforts to support citizens, the government implemented the Philippine program, or Hermogenes, in 2007. The fourth is a situational cash transfer program for impoverished households. The program gives the household grants as long as they meet certain requirements, including keeping the children in schools, having regular health checkups, and having parents or guardians at the family themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Looks like one of our audiences again was have a question. Please stand up.
Is there any quality between rich and poor when it comes to accessible services?
Well, the problem is that many public hospitals don't have the resources to treat everyone immediately. The public healthcare system is deteriorating as a result of doctors leaving for better paying jobs overseas. And not every Filipino can afford the services of private hospitals, while rich people have the means to seek advanced healthcare. Not to mention the huge difference between hospitals in urban and rural areas. Hospitals in urban areas have more manpower than those located in isolated areas, primarily because of their accessibility and better pay. Rural hospitals are at a disadvantage because their location makes it difficult for them to acquire all the medical supplies and equipment they need. To add this, they face a challenge in manpower. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies, or PIDS, reports that over 75% of cities and municipalities across the country do not have enough medical professionals and demands. But by working together, we can make health services more affordable and accessible to all Filipinos, regardless of where they are from. The Health of Non-Governmental Organization, or NGOs, and HRH 2030 together with the Department of Health will work to strengthen the deployment, training, and management of the health workers to improve access and quality of health services.
Thank you very much for enlightening us there. Do you have something to add, Mr. Aban?
Yes, in addition to what Ms. Galin said, the government has also implemented a few programs to solve the unemployment problems in our country. The PAD, or Tulong Panghanapbuhay sa Ating Disadvantaged Displaced Workers, is a community-based package of assistance that provides emergency employment for displaced workers, underemployed, and seasonal workers for a minimum period of 10 days but not to exceed a maximum of 30 days depending on the nature of the work to be performed. And to contribute to the realization of the national goal of inclusive growth, the Department of Labor and Employment implements the Kabuhayan program, which specifies seeks to assist vulnerable workers such as the self-employed, landless farmers, unpaid family workers, displaced workers, parents of child laborers, and low-wage seasonal workers. Selected beneficiaries are provided with livelihood opportunities as well as training supports that help them augment their incomes and consequently reduce their vulnerability.
Thank you for all the information that you all gave us here. Now, let's move on to our next topic, the main causes of poverty in the Philippines. You all stated most of the government's actions to combat poverty. Now, let us discuss the main causes of poverty. Let's start with you, Mr. Ariscayo.
Accidental occurrences are one of the main causes of poverty in the Philippines. The Filipino people are forced by such events to experience hunger, a lack of employment, family support, and academic inability. One of the fortuitous events is typhoon. The Philippines is one of the nations with a propensity to be exposed to typhoons. With 60% of its population living in the coastal areas and sensitivity to the El Niño phenomenon. The Taal volcano eruption's effects on the economy. According to a senior official of the Socio-Economic Planning Agency. Then, the other main factor is overpopulation. Population growth has been one of the major factors why Filipinos experiencing destitution. As for this year's report, the population of the Philippines is over 113 million. Lack of training on family planning in communities and barangays as well as implementation thereof causes population growth.
Thanks for that, Mr. Ariscayo. Now, Ms. Abraham, you're also thinking about this issue for a while now, right? Let's hear about your thoughts on this.
This may be controversial for some, but the truth must be told. There are major causes why poverty exists in our country. Having irresponsible government leaders or officials is one of the causes of this issue. The issue of grabs and corruption continues because of official uses their position and power to obtain money from the funds and use it for their own self-interests, rather than providing for the needs of the people and the country still exists. The Priority Development Assistance Fund scam, also known as the Napoles pork barrel scam, is a large corruption scandal involving Napoles and other government officials who conspired with her to swindle the Philippine government a total of 10 billion of pesos. All of these were researched and proven.
That is indeed controversial, but I have a question. Do you think the main cause of poverty is because of the irresponsible government, or is it because of the people's mindset? We know that the government might be doing things that will help reduce poverty, but it's not enough that there are some of our fellow Filipinos that completely relies on the government's help.
That's a tough question to answer, but both of them are the main factors of poverty. The people's over-reliance of the government is a toxic trait that some of us possess. There are a lot of people that works hard on their own without relying that much on the government, but still strive to get 3 meals a day. Now, on the other hand, the government only focuses on the problems that they see, but not on what the people are talking about. The education system, the unemployment, and other major problems are sometimes being set aside just to let some unnecessary problems to be resolved.
I'd like to add that inflation is also a factor in causing poverty. The headline inflation in the Philippines accelerated to 6.9% in September 2022 from 6.3% in August 2020. This is the highest record inflation since October 2008. Inflation refers to a general increase in the prices of goods and services. When there is an increase in overall price level, it means that 1 unit of currency can purchase fewer products and services than before. As a result, inflation is equivalent to a decrease in the purchasing power of the economy. For example, the pay rates in the province city, according to Ordinance Number March 15, 2020. The new pay rate will be 12 peso for the first 2 kilometers and 2 peso for the subsequent kilometers. PWs and students and seniors, on the other hand, shall receive a 20% discount. The ordinance was passed by the Tacloban City Council on September 1 and approved by Mayor Alfred Romualdez on September 14. Really is painful for our fellow Filipinos to suffer each and every day.
I agree with that, Ms. Kitty. Our people suffer because of something that we can seem to solve no matter what we do. Following that, our last topic is about what are the effects of poverty in our people. Since like you've studied this, Mr. Aban, would you like starting from?
Well, with the poverty plaguing the country and employment opportunities being scarce, many Filipinos are unable to afford housing, which put them in danger of turning to the streets for accommodation. In 2012, extreme poverty within the Philippines affected 19.2% of the population, or around 18.4 million people. A lack of affordable housing drives homelessness. People become homeless when they cannot afford a place to live. There are approximately 4.5 homeless people, including children, in the Philippines, which has a population of 106 million people. In 2020, homelessness in the Philippines is caused by a variety of reasons, including loss of jobs, insufficient income, or lack of stable job.
Now, it seems like we have another question for the crowd. Stand up, please.
As Mr. Aban stated, there are millions of homeless people. But what about child laborers? Are there any studies and statistics about them?
Well, that's a good question. Parents often can't make enough money to support their families, children, then have to be taken out of school to work in a harsh condition. A statistic shows that around 3.6 million children from ages 5 to 17 are laborers in the Philippines. This is 15.9% of the entire population. About 95% of them are hazardous work. 69% of these are aged 15 to 17 years old, beyond the minimum allowable age for workers but is still exposed to hazardous work. Children work in farms and plantations, in dangerous mines on the street, factories, and even in private homes as child domestic workers. Agriculture remains to be the sector where most child laborers can be found at 58%.
Now, before we conclude this session, I have a very last question for you. How is the psychological well-being of individuals affected by poverty? How is their mental health status?
Inequalities in society are associated with a significant increased risk of mental ill health. Poverty is a key player. People in poverty can face constant high level of stress. For example, due to struggling to make ends meet, overcrowded or unsafe housing, fear of crime, and comparatively poor physical health.
That is indeed a very harsh truth, and we know. Due to life being very hard, even children have to worry for their family, and the mental health status of our people are slowly deteriorating. Thank you, dear panelists, for your wonderful explanation and thoughts in our discussion. In conclusion to what we've discussed, the Philippine government plans to eradicate extreme poverty by 2040 through various programs and reforms. Education, healthcare, and other overall economy is among the areas that the government has targeted to reduce poverty. In Vision 2040, the Philippine government's plan to eradicate extreme poverty. Accidents and occurrences are one of the main causes of poverty in the Philippines. The Filipino people are then forced by such events to experience hunger, a lack of employment, family support, and academic inability. A recent study showed that around 3.44 million Filipinos were jobless in March 2021. With this, many of us have tightened our budget to support our daily needs. Both the public and private sectors push for more livelihood programs to help ease the problems brought on by poverty. This is due to the fact that some sectors have already been experiencing this kind of hardship long before this pandemic arrived. That concludes everything, right? Once again, I thank our dear panelists for being here with us and to you people who have come and listened. Thank you very much.